fucking table. You have people just mass murdering. You have people just committing genocide. And then you also have where it says that the world is going to watch. The innocent are going to scream out and say, why ain't nobody helping me? And people, there's going to be nobody help. And the innocent blood is going to bleed up from the ground. All this shit's come to fruition. All this shit's come to fruition. So we have these conversations. That's why I said, like, I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm comfortable because I understand what this is. I'm not, you know the Bible way better than me. You know the Torah, Quran, you know religion way better than me. Other people know way better than me. I don't really consider myself a spiritual person, but I say I am. I guess I kind of am, whatever, stuff like that. I read these things. I'm a fact person. I understand patterns. That's how my brain works.
Well,
there's too many facts and too many patterns that add up from these things that are considered spiritual, or however you want to look at it, for me to say that they're not reality. I don't know why other people don't see it, but this is fucking reality. All these things was written before I was fucking even thought of. Dire earthquakes, famine, mothers against children, homosexuality, all this bestiality, all this fucking self-love, all the selfishness, the world's going to be selfishness. We're in that age. We're in that age fully. It's not no longer our grandparents talking about when we read the stuff. No, you're in the end of Revelation. And people, it should be going to be quick. 7 years of tribulations. You're going to have the great word skater, and he's going to come in, and the first couple of years are going to be smooth. You go, oh, it wasn't that bad. Everybody was just fucking tripping. It's going to look smooth. Trump's going to come in and smooth out some shit, and the administration, and there ain't going to be no wars, and shit's going to kind of calm down. See, I told you, boss, that. And then when tribulation starts, that 7th year, that's when shit's going to go. That's why he keeps telling people, and people not people, because you're in the bosom of him, dude. You're comfortable, dude. Like, you know, you're not blind. Like, you're good.
Well, the thing is what it mentions in the scripture is rumors of wars.
You have
wars. You have wars and rumors of wars. And a lot of
daughter against mother, father against son. You're gonna have total disrespect. You're gonna have
people will say, I'm not talking about all that.
And people will stand around and videotaping their
I understand that. I ain't talking about all that.
I'm talking about where the baby is on the ground and they're being kidnapped and raped by somebody. And people just walk by and it's normal. And this is gonna be society globally.
But I ain't talking about that. I'll kind of talk about that, but I ain't talking about that. It goes into the wars and the rumors of wars. You know what I'm saying? Because the rumors of wars, you know, people a lot of times, they don't really, dig deep into that rumors of wars, because you got wars and rumors of wars. So it's just, you hear wars twice to kind of skip over the rumors.
People,
you know what I'm saying? And the rumors goes in, but the rumors goes in, but the rumors of wars goes into this whole G20 shit. You know, when it comes to the big meeting, when it comes to all the confusion that you think is real confusion, and it's not really real confusion, but an agenda, created confusion. You know, you got powers that meet, you know, on one accord concerning certain decisions that's being made in the world within your government, you know, which is why they trying to get you into this NWO type shit, one world government. You know, it's been an agenda.
But they've been doing it. That's what I don't get. People keep on saying a new world order. You always been a new world order.
Oh, no. It ain't official yet. No, it's not official yet.
What do you mean not official? You under one currency. You've been on one currency since you've been here.
No, I ain't. You're looking at it.
How much your money is worth?
That's the currency. You're looking at it from
it's not the currency of a dollar or a title or a yen or a euro. The currency is I tell you how to live your life.
You're going into a whole other thing. I wasn't really trying to go into. You know, I was just saying on a bigger scale. You kind of breaking down the currency with it. I understand that, but I wasn't really going all the way there with that. I'm just saying that when it comes to the rumors of wars, you know, when the questions get asked, well, why America has never been attacked? It's like, and America ain't gonna get attacked. You know, unless it's by America itself. But then, what is America, and who is really over America? Who are the people in America? Because, like, they not really Americans. And the only motherfuckers that don't seem to know that is the people in America. Everybody else know who they are. Which is why it will never get attacked like that, because they already know, like, listen, they know the position the people in America in. It's the people in America that don't necessarily know the position that they're in, because of the MK Ultra and the brainwashing and different things like that. You know, it's the whole reason when it came to the Indians that was here, when you talk about how they kept getting sick when they came over here with their poisons. They came over here with their poisons physically, and then also with their poisons trying to implement their culture over the original culture.
Take your children and put them in boarding schools and wash their mouth and make them speak our language.
But it's like, yeah, those rumors of wars are like created wars. You know, the wars that you were getting into when it came to, see, that's the wars he was talking about when he say there will be wars and then there will be rumor of wars. The wars he's talking about is what you was breaking down when you went into within the family. And then the rumors of wars, see, this is where he gets into your government and the shit that they create that people think is a real war based off what the media preach, but this shit ain't even about that. And it's more of a genocide than a war.
Yep.
A lot of times. You know, and then it's like, shit, when you chosen a motherfucker and put them in the area to rule, I mean, that kind of takes it out of war, because it's like, shit, you controlled the whole shit the whole time. Was it really war? Or was this just a business move because a motherfucker got out of line that you got the people thinking that, oh, we're at war with this country?
Everybody's saying,
because that's what that's.
They was killing motherfuckers. They was taking real estates and saying there's gonna be beachfront and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers mapped out fucking Syria and Iran or what they gonna build there and shit like that.
Cause shit, that's what that Saddam Hussein shit was. There was no weapons of mass destruction. It's like, so this really wasn't. I mean, this is a war. We're in the war atmosphere. Yes, y'all have created this war atmosphere, but this wasn't really, so to speak, a war. If there's no weapons of mass destruction and we over here like this.
And how many embassies did we leave when we so called
like we all up in they shit like this, and there was really no weapons of no one of these motherfuckers. Like, we riding through the city and they squatted up like that, even though they ain't, you know, it was a moment to where the motherfuckers crowded, like, like, yeah. But I don't think we ran over anybody. We almost shot some motherfuckers. I mean, some of them probably got their feet ran. I don't think we ran over. I don't know. But it was that type of position where vehicles getting rushed and shit. There's so many of these motherfuckers. All of a sudden, the street just get rushed with these motherfuckers. And it's like right there. It's like right there. And this is why it's like when motherfuckers, when we talk about the police, and it's like, see, this is what the military shit different. Rules of engagement. In that situation, a police mentality would have shot all them motherfuckers. We can't do it. We can, but we can't. There's going to be a review. You think those police get reviewed? And it's like, and I ain't even saying the military is what it is, but there's things that this is what make the military tricky, is because they come across kind of like the Freemason shit. You have a positive effect But on the foundation of what you are and what you're created to be, it's not on no positive shit. But the thing is, you can't get the personnel that you need without the deception of it being something that's going to be beneficial to them in a positive manner, even if you an evil motherfucker. An evil motherfucker don't necessarily... evil motherfucker don't necessarily want to be evil. And the thing is, they don't even want people to see their evil side, even when they about to do some evil shit. They going to appear as a positive motherfucker.
That's why they put the mask on. But here's something. The whole point was that special operators aren't anybody for civilians or anybody to look up to. And that's how he was breaking down this, the psychology of these are people who either they fall in one, two categories, or he's talking about like all these different guys that have their podcasts, their videos they put up, and he was, saying some of the guys legit and stuff like that, blah, blah. But the bottom line is, he was saying that to the public, these are not people that you should be admiring and striving to be like, because even though we can do X, Y, and Z, as human beings, we are some of the worst fucking human beings. Yes, we'll leave the shirt off our back, we'll do anything for you. But if that switch get fucking clicked, we are the worst fucking human beings on this fucking planet.
You gotta understand what a soul is.
We are not something to admire, to be, to not commended to for that, because this is somebody who's been in special operations, did shit and stuff like that. And he was saying to the public, this is not what you want to send your kids to do. This is not what you should admire to do. Like, yes, it's a job that we deem, however we want to make it in our mind, righteous, in every military across the globe that has special operations from every fucking country when they have their special operations. But you're looking at people that are willing to look at human beings as something to go through.
Well, the whole thing about it, like, it's soulless beings. You got to think about the draft. Why they so, like, what you're about to take the mind to create what you need to create. I mean, everything that you about to do to us mentally is valid, based off your agenda and what you need to create and what you need to fight for you. It's like, if you sign that contract, you really got to understand, like, the fuckery could get real different with this shit. And you might not even understand it to the extent, because it's like, it's the military, the way it portrays itself, And the thing is, for the most part, we ain't gonna act like some people weren't better off in the shit. But then that's even the whole fucked up thing about it, because it's like, at the end of the day, you still being lied to about your orders and what you're really doing and the situations they putting you in, but manipulating your mind, making you feel like you're doing this for your country and your family. But when you go home, your family ain't really protected like that. And the police, they got their little ill shit that they feel, and they'll try to use their authority to still treat us any kind of way, knowing goddamn well they out of pocket. But it's that jealousy there because of, that it's like, it's different shit. The military ain't necessarily connected to America, which is why we have to be, which is why you don't even have the aspect of racism in that shit like you do in the civilian world. It can't be like that.
Feel this way about bigotry and prejudice. You can still have this machine that, even though we know this is a fucking fact, that people are still willing to come in and say, I'm gonna give this thing a fucking try, and try to diversity within the military, because out of everything that we have in this country over 248 years of our establishment, this shit seems to be the closest that actually kind of works. And I might have a fair thing, because I've already been hired for the job. I already passed the ASVAB. I'm down here in reception, so I already got the gig. I just got to show up every day and learn. And that's really what the military is. That's the most fair balance as far as equal job opportunity.
I can make it simpler than all that shit you just said.
Well, yeah, I remember our experience was different. You gotta remember, I volunteered to come in 2 times. You know, I came in 1989 and in 2001. I have a different mindset. I understood what I was getting into. So for me, it was like I never felt like I got taken advantage of by the military. Like, yeah, shit happened. I had bad command. I had motherfuckers I didn't like on regular jobs.
So
like that. Motherfuckers I kind of bumped heads with on fucking jobs. I had.
So you understood when you got into the military.
So I never looked at like, oh, you know, the Army fucked up with me.
No, I'm saying
they brought me back from Walter Reed, and I was supposed to have treatment. They fucked up my medical and stuff like that. No, that was a fucking unit. No, that was that fucking sergeant. That was that sergeant major signed off on it. That was that fucking captain that called up and tried to get me fucking chaptered out and tried to hold me over for a court martial. And it's like, now you gotta let me go.
I ain't talking about all that. Why you going down this? Why you
That's just how I look always. That's the facts of what it was. It wasn't the entire military that did great things for me or horrible things for me. It was certain people in certain situations that did great things for me and did horrible things for me.
What I'm saying, you went into all that. In simple terms, the Army is not, so to speak, America. It's Great Britain. It's Europe. Great Britain and Europe don't treat their colored people the same way like they treat them in America. You know, people don't understand.
They still got their racism. I be watching that shit all the time on YouTube, and they be having fucking incidents and stuff like that.
You said what?
I be watching that shit all the time on YouTube, where they be having a fucking racist incidents over there in Britain, UK.
No. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying that they don't have it.
If you're not watching their news, you don't know that.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm not even saying that they don't have it. I'm saying it's not at the rate that it is in America. It's too different. It's still, even though they have it over there, it's still too different. It's not on the same level. You know, there's a certain.
No, it's more of a caste system over there.
Yeah, it's a certain agenda over here. This is why they.
Nobody is racist as America.
This is why they list that slavery as something different. You know, because you always had people in the world that, you know, we talk about this. You always had people in the world that they're not necessarily a slave, but it even say in the scriptures, you know, there's a certain way you treat certain people. Like if they're wanderers, you know, if they willing to do a little work, give them something to eat, or, you know, give them a place to stay. You know, but you're not allowed to look down on them. You're not allowed to treat them a certain kind of way. You know, and you even see it in this day and time now. The people that in the scriptures that they may call wanderers or, you know, peasants, you know, these are today business owners like janitors and motherfuckers that do cleaning the houses. You know, them same motherfuckers back in the day that used to be peasants. You know, but what went down when they called this shit in America, this was some other shit. You know, this was some deceptive, underhanded shit. And then you implement religion with it to where blatantly, if you actually read the book, you'll see the same shit I'm talking about when he telling you how to treat the peasants, which, you know, peasants/slaves, that's the same way peasants were viewed back in the day, were, you know, basically as what we would call the slaves today, peasant.
But they knew that. That's why they came up with the slave Bible.
You know?
They handed it to the slaves and took out, you know, the revolts from...
Well, they didn't really come up with the slave Bible. What they did was, you know, and they showed you in that movie, they only read certain areas of the Bible.
Yeah, and that's how they came up with the slave Bible. Like, they would only read certain passages and was always putting them in a position of power and why they should be submissive, and they had been cursed, and that's why they was in a situation. So I forgot who it was, but like 2 people that got together and came up with the slave Bible and handed it out to the slaves and passed it on different plantations. So then that was their version of the Bible. So they never heard about, you know, Egypt or Moses, you know, fighting back or anything against the Pharisees. They just knew they would curse people, that this was their plight. And
well, yeah, that's something different you talk about. Yeah, that's something different. You
the
talk
slave
about.
Bible isn't all. I told you, if you ever get this, can I say this part? If you ever go to Washington D.C., ride still around, go to the African American Museum. Like, I think people go into the wrong plight, like, oh, this is some other shit. No, I'm looking at like, no, this is the evidence. They're showing you the evidence of what they did. They're so proud of it. They built a fucking museum and said, come see it. And here's the thing about it. We won't even charge you to come see it. All you gotta do is be here. If you live in D.C. or in the area, you're good. If you come from across the country, across the fucking world, you can come to this museum for free and you can see the shit that we did to these people. And we're so fucking proud that we have the Smithsonian Museum for Native Americans, for African Americans, and for our own history. And we will show you that this is the things that we'll do to you and celebrate it and be like,
I was just there for my family reunion. They went there. I ain't go because, it was they left too early in the morning. I usually, I'll be going through my health shit.
Go to for like, it's like, you go certain places here and you see those areas and stuff like that.
Well, I'm just saying, with what you're saying, it probably was best I didn't go.
Your family, or they made these movies, or you read some history, and to see all this shit collected in one place and then put in a timeline.
It probably was best I didn't go. I ain't make it there, but I was right next to that bitch. It's probably good I ain't go. Because my mind get different when I see certain shit. It's programming. It's mockery. It's programming.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be that. It's not supposed to look like. I appreciate them doing that way because it's not so you to walk in and like a lot of these kids right now, they're so disconnected to just the shit like in the 70s and 60s. They don't even comprehend that shit. So they damn sure don't comprehend somebody taking fucking practice and being a fucking 3-5 years old. So it puts you in that state for people who never heard about it, took it for granted, or somewhere in between, or know when they're deeply involved. But it puts you in that depressive understanding. This was not a hack. Like how they try to do the Daughters of the Confederacy and they do this rewriting of fucking history, whitewashing shit. They like, nah, bitch, this is how we want you to know this off the way.
Well, before you switch off, before you switch off and get into all that, because you go into a whole subject quick, but it's just like what you were saying before about the shit in D.C. When you go to the museum spot, it's kind of like in these elementary and middle schools when they continue to do the same kind of slave play over and over and over. When you go to the school, it's like, damn, I remember this shit when my just was in school and I went to their elementary school play. I'm like, damn, they still doing this same slavery play over and over, and it's like an embedded mockery. And then when you go to shit like what we talk about now in DC, where they actually got a museum up, and how many motherfuckers done went in here and looked at this shit and didn't feel the kind of way.
You got to experience the way it's designed. You start you over with depression, then you come through everything we've been through to current day.
It's the manipulation of history.
I mean, yeah, the history. So when you come out, you're coming out with a celebration of us. So it brings you out in the music section, the entertainment section.
They manipulate the fuck out of history.
Us being in the army and all the stuff that we went through, but it's a celebration. So you go in depression, but when you come out in celebration and hope. And that's what I liked about it. Because again, it is a mind fuck. It's like you come in and you're like, damn, this is bullshit.
People gotta understand.
In the middle of fucking emotions.
The army,
like, we've overcome all this bullshit.
The army even wasn't
like that design of it's like you come out like. Even though you started us off in this bullshit, we've been through this bullshit, but look where we at. Like, you had us in fucking chains, and we go through fucking chains, and we're doing every fucking thing. Yeah, we're still dealing with your bullshit, but we've overcome this shit in this country. Like, this is what people don't understand. When people talk about we need to go live in another country.
I don't think we overcame shit, though.
Beat them at their own shit.
I don't think we overcame anything.
They've just been in control on some mind shit, and we submitted to